This computer. All right. Hello, America. Welcome to our awesome video. Today we're going to give our impressions of the Pokemon Direct that just aired earlier this morning. Um, who am I talking to today? Who else is here?
Me. I'm
Yes,
him.
it is him. It is him, the only one, me. Um, Anyways, I guess I'll start by asking you, what did you think overall of the Direct as a whole? Like, did you think it was good?
I skipped everything and just went to the the Legends game.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You didn't watch anything else?
Well, I skimmed through it. I was like, all right, Pokemon Go,
That's crazy.
whatever the puzzle game, whatever. I was like, okay, Champions, whatever, but they didn't show really anything, so I was like, okay, we'll
Okay,
skip.
well, I guess when we finish talking about AZ, then I'll have to carry the discussion. So I actually watched the whole thing. So,
Hmm.
oops. All right. Well, I guess we'll just get right into it. Obviously AZ was the big highlight here, because, well, that's the only game I think most people here actually like give a fuck about. So, so we'll start with that, I guess. And I'll start off here by saying, I actually was really impressed by the amount of changes they made to this game. Not even just from like normal Pokemon, but even just from the last uh Legends game. Like there's a lot of new things going on here. And it actually looked really cool. Even just like looking at it right now, like the way in which like when you find a Pokemon, it you can like beat it and let its HP go like all the way down. And instead of it just like fainting, quote unquote, and just going away, you can actually then go and catch it. It's like it feels like more thought out in a way. Like because like it never really made sense to me how you defeat a Pokemon or whatever, and then it faints, but then it's just gone. Like that doesn't make any sense. So I'm happy like that's just one of those like smart changes that I was really happy to see, and I think it actually looks really cool.
The only thing that does look a little wonky is the way you dodge moves, is that you literally walk, but then you kind of have to
Yes,
hope that the Pokemon follows you.
right. Yeah, no, the
That
biggest
looks a little
issue,
stupid, but
the biggest issue I think all we're gonna have with this, or maybe they won't. I don't really know. But I think the biggest issue we're gonna have with this is the fact that it it's almost like not even a turn-based game anymore. Like this looks more like almost like an action game. And some people are gonna like that and some people won't. I personally think it's interesting and I want to give it a chance, but I fully acknowledge that it might not necessarily hit for everyone and definitely is a change that is notable and significant. So, but we'll see. I don't know. I mean, like it looks cool though. Like the way that you like I don't know if you saw this in the trailer. I actually might go and try to find it real fast. But like at some point they show a Pokemon using a move, right? Like and like the way it works in the normal games is like you oh there it was right there. So Lucario here uses Protect after after the Pokemon uses Moonblast, right? Normally the way it works is you have to use Protect first and then you have to like kind of like predict if they're gonna use a move on you. But
or are you
now
sure that maybe it just showed that he used it, but like maybe he used it
I
before though?
I mean it's possible, but I doubt it. Like you can see like the Moonblast text comes out first. And you can also see in the bottom right here, right where the moves are, there's a cooldown on the moves. So what that tells me is that this is not something where you take turns pressing moves. And instead you are kind of acting almost like reactionary to what's going on in the heat of the battle. And that to me is really interesting because it makes it kind of feel more like on the fly and a bit more fast paced. And I think that is a really interesting change. So I'm excited to try that.
Mm, yeah. I'm yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
The only thing is that it said late 2025, so that's
Yeah.
a little stupid, but
Sure,
yeah.
yeah. That's something I'll mention. So like I actually overall really liked this trailer. I thought it was actually really good. I only had a few small issues with it. The first one being the actually like the very beginning. I don't think this little scene right here I don't think it looks very good. I think it looks kind of weird.
Eh.
Like I think it looks a little bit weak, as it were. There was another part too that I wanted to point out, but I don't know where it is. But I don't know. I think it looks a little bit rough, but overall, I like this. This looks good. I think a lot of the Pokemon look pretty solid. The models look fine. I actually think overall, I think the biggest takeaway from this game, honestly, other than like the revamped battles, is the things that we actually didn't see here. At least for me. Like I am so happy that like one, they did not announce another game during this, like another mainline game, because obviously last time they did our Legends game, it came right off the heels of another Pokemon game that was terrible. So I'm really happy,
In your opinion.
in most people's opinion.
Mm.
And it was really nice to see that they are focusing on this game. They're making this the main push for this year, and it's clearly what has given or what they have given most attention because obviously in the past you've had a lot of problems of cranking these games out, and a lot of them have a lot of issues, a lot of bugs, a lot of glitches, and they're just not very good games in my opinion. And so it feels like this game they were really trying to put a lot of time in to make it really good. And even though people are disappointed with the fact that it is late 2025, I'm actually happy because it once again proves they are focused on making this game actually good. They are letting it out, they're giving it time to be developed and be fleshed out and ultimately be a good game. And I think that is
Watch it
super
not run
exciting.
well.
I mean, it might not still. I'm not guaranteeing that by any
At
means.
least probably on the
Switch
Switch and not
one.
Switch 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that actually that's a good I guess that's a good segue. Do you think this game will be on Switch 1 at all, or do you think it'll be just a Switch 2 game?
Yeah, I think it'll be on
You
the
think it'll be on
first
both?
one. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, this looks like it like will run. Like it's not like if I feel like they would have said already like it'll only be on the Switch 2
Hmm. Yeah,
during this, especially
the,
because like this game looks like yeah, it looks a little bit. Actually, no, I would say it looks the same as like Scarlet and Violet
I agree. Yeah, it does.
about. So it's like
Mm,
I know it can run on that.
right. Yeah, and I mean they already announced and they announced this game last year. They said it was a Switch One game, so I don't think they would then turn around and not make a Switch One game. That'd be kind of messed up. So
Mm.
I think they'll probably keep it at least Switch One. I wouldn't even be surprised, honestly, if it was like well, I don't want to say exclusively Switch One, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a Switch One focus because I mean Game Freak has a history of releasing games for the old console even after the new one comes out. Like for instance, they released Black and White 2 for the DS, even though 3DS had been out for like a year and a half. And then like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came out on 3DS, even though the Switch had been out for like at least 6 months or so, I think. So they do have a precedent of releasing the old game or like the new game on old hardware. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did that again with this one, even though they probably could have on Switch 2 if they wanted to. So
Mhm.
um so yeah. Um I guess next we can talk about the starters. What do you think of the starter choices? Here we have
Uh,
Tepig, Chikorita, and Totodile.
yeah, the Tepig and Totodile. Yeah, I love those. Uh, Chikorita, whatever.
Yeah.
But
So
I
I'm
mean,
go ahead.
because I know I'm gonna choose Totodile.
Totodile. Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. What also so I don't actually mind any of the starters like on their own. Like Chikorita is probably the least popular one, but I don't think it's bad. And I like Tepig and I like Totodile a lot. The biggest issue I have with the starters here, actually, is I don't like how they had two starters in the same generation. That bothers me. I don't like that. Especially considering the last Legends game did such a good job of taking three starters that were popular, but not necessarily like fan favorites, like Oshawott. Oh my, who's it?
Oshawott is the best starter.
Is it the best starter in your opinion?
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with that. I like Oshawott a lot. But what were the other ones? They had Cyndaquil, and what was the grass one again? Was it the oh, well, who was it? Who was the grass starter in the Arceus game? Or in Arceus?
I don't know. I never picked the grass starter.
You've
so
never
I
picked the
never.
grass starter?
No,
Really?
I mostly do water and then sometimes fire.
You're telling me you didn't pick like Trico or like Snivy or anyone?
No, I picked
Or
uh
Bulbasaur?
no.
That's crazy. I'm surprised by that. See, Turtwig, which is the grass starter from Gen 4, is like my favorite starter. So
Hmm.
that's kind of crazy. But either way, I just think that they did such a good job of having, a big variety. Like one of the coolest things about these games, in my opinion, is that they take a region, right? Like they took Gen 4 in Arceus, for instance, and they turned it into like a game that featured Pokemon from all different kinds of gens and like different uh regions. And obviously they're still doing that for the most part here. But I mean, we've seen a lot of Gen 6 Pokemon in this trailer, and then for the starters to be, for them to have so many starters to choose from, and then pick two from the same generation, I was not overly a big fan of that. I wish they had gone with a little bit more variety. Um, so that wasn't my favorite, especially because like at the end of the day, like I said, I don't hate Chikorita by any means, but like Chikorita is probably one of the least popular starters ever made. So why they chose that and they could have chose like Turtwig or Bulbasaur or somebody else, I would really have appreciated them doing that instead.
Hmm.
Um, so I
Hmm.
don't know why they chose that, but at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. It's just kind of like a personal gripe. Um, but I don't know. I'm not overly a fan of the way they chose these three chart starters like as a group. I think they're a little bit weird together, but so be it. Do you think they'll all have mega evolutions?
Yeah. I don't know why they
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Well, because obviously in Arceus they had different like final evolution like forms, right? Like they had like the different like forms of they had like the samurai that was like part dark type or whatever it was. Um, so I know people were wondering like, do you think they'll do forms again, or do you think they'll do a mega evolution?
I
Um,
think it'll just be the regular Mega Evolution.
yeah, see, I could see it being both, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if they did both. Um,
I feel like they would have said something about that if it was so.
why?
Uh, why not?
I don't know. I mean, they didn't show the mega evolution either for any of them.
Well, but we know that Mega Evolution is the the gimmick with this game.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's funny. And speaking of that, like they actually, believe it or not, I don't know if you noticed this, they didn't actually show off a single new Mega Evolution in this trailer.
Why?
I know. Which I mean, like, I'm not shocked by that, but I am kind of surprised. Like, I'm sure they're gonna save it like a future reveal. Um,
No, this is the only thing we're gonna see until the game releases.
oh, that'd be kind of a shame. But I mean, yeah, I just think it's interesting how they didn't show a single one here, and like, and especially in a world where like I said, they already showed off mostly Gen 6 Pokemon here. Like most of the Pokemon we saw are either in X and Y or came before that. Like there are not a lot of like new Pokemon here, which I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like it makes you wonder like what else do they have planned here? Um,
Well, it's not supposed to be, like a new generation of
well, of course.
games, so
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
there
yeah.
might only be like one or two new like legendaries or something.
Sure. Yeah, we already saw there's Zygarde is in the game with all
Hmm.
its different forms. It is right there. So we know Zygarde always has some impact, which of course we kind of expected because it's ZA. Um, I guess next, what else we talk about? What do you think about his characters? I'm not sure how much you remember from like the original story of X and
Yeah,
Y.
I mean, yeah, I know about the old guy.
Yeah, AZ. Yeah,
Yeah, Urbane and
yeah.
Tanya,
Whatever their name is.
kind of cringe. Uh,
Hmm.
let's
I
see.
agree.
Let's see. Elon Musk and Melania Trump there.
Yeah.
Um,
So I actually think these two are a little bit interesting because these two give, to me, these two remind me a lot of, I don't know if you ever played Sun and Moon, but
it not really.
oh, well, see, these two, I never actually beat that game, but these two remind me a lot of the Ether Foundation because honestly, that was the only other game I believe where they had a big focus on like a company. Um, and of course, they end up being like the evil villains of that game. And we see here, this is another like big company that looks like they're gonna have a notable presence in this game. And we see this lady here has these little moon earrings. So I can't help but wonder if maybe there's some connection between the Ether Foundation and these guys. Um, and I'll call it right now. These are probably the villains of this game. So there's also that. But but yeah, look how tall AZ is, by the way. You see that? He looks like a
Yeah.
future like NBA player here. This is crazy. But
What's
but
that supposed
yeah,
to mean?
he's tall. But anyway, I think the characters look cool.
Yeah.
Next up, so I guess we'll talk about the wild area. Well, sorry, wild zones.
Get it
Um,
right.
yeah. So these, I have mixed feelings on these. So I'll let you go first. Do you like the wild zones?
Yeah.
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 What do you
I'd say
do
it's pretty
you
cool. I mean, just 'cause I don't know if the is it that the game is supposed to take place just entirely within the city?
So that is actually the acid of this I was gonna potentially critique here. Is that yeah, we have not seen any confirmation of there being any other areas in this game beyond just the city itself. And to the game's credit, Luna City is a gigantic city. It's one of the biggest in all of Pokemon. And so they probably could make that work still, just having one city be the entire, setting of this game.
Yeah.
But I kind of hope there's more to it than that. I think it'd be a tad disappointing if it was literally just one town and that was it, albeit one big town, just one town. I think there should be more to it than that. And like, and like Lumio City is probably the most memorable location in X and Y. It's a huge city. I remember when I went there for the first time. I remember being shocked at how big it was. That was the biggest city in any game ever when that happened, when they made it. So it was such a
No, it wasn't.
yeah, what was
You
bigger than
think that
that?
was the biggest video game, the biggest city in any video game ever?
Any Pokemon game.
Oh, well, you didn't say that. So,
No, well, that's what I meant. Um,
okay.
but
I was about
it
to
was like
say,
gigantic. It was like, whoa, look how big the city is. It's crazy.
yeah,
And so,
but you could not really explore that
yeah,
much.
yeah. The thing is, like, there weren't that many buildings you could go into. The ones you could go into didn't have much going on. You couldn't go on the roofs like you can in this game, which is interesting.
Yeah, but you could be Assassin's Creed in this. You can,
Exactly.
you can, which is kind of silly looking. Like
Hmm.
he just double jumps,
Right.
which is
Yeah,
like what?
that was definitely interesting. Yeah, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I forgot what that
Mm,
was, but yeah, there's something about.
yeah,
But yeah, I think it's a little bit it'll be a tad disappointing if the Pokemon are only caught in this one city and therefore the entire game takes place in this one city. Like I feel like that'd be a bit disappointing. I mean, you have a whole region to work with here and you're only going to use one city. I don't know. I wouldn't like that very much, but I get why they're doing it. I mean, like the reality is Lumia City is huge and they probably
yeah.
want to take
I mean,
advantage of
there's
it.
probably gonna be like underground like sewers and
Sure.
stuff.
Yes.
Maybe there's gonna be like yeah, like that's where the trash monster is gonna be. Is trying to trash Pokemon
Oh,
is gonna be
Garbodor.
is
Yeah.
gonna be in the sewers.
Hmm.
'Cause this city's it's based off of Paris, right?
Correct. Or yeah,
Yeah.
the city is, yeah.
Yeah, and you know they have like poo in their sewage water that's just like in the river.
Yeah, they do have that,
Yeah. Yeah,
probably.
so that's where it's so yeah.
If you say so. Um, so yeah, I mean like, I think it's got a lot of potential because like, yeah, you're doing such a huge area here. I mean, you gotta think that, even beyond what we saw in this trailer, they're probably going to have a lot of like different options for like how you can explore this place in between like the buildings you can go inside, the different like back alleys and corridors and different areas you can go into. Not to mention the fact that yeah, like we said, you can go into like the roofs and stuff. There's clearly like a lot going on in this city. Like, yeah, it looks like maybe you can go in the water there. Like, there's clearly a lot going on here. So, I mean, I certainly think there's still a lot of potential, but if it is just the city itself, even despite how big it would be, I would be a tad disappointed by that. I think it would be potentially not seeing its full realization, like potential, I guess. If that was what they ended up doing. So yeah. Um, but bro, I want to go back to the battle system again because battle system is awesome. Like like this, I don't know if this reminds you of a game or not, but this just screams like Ni no Kuni to me with like the cooldowns on the moves. And like we saw with Stealth Rock, I believe it was some point. Yeah, over here. We saw with Stealth Rock here that he uses Stealth Rock first, and then he uses Flame Wheel, and the Flame Wheel actually is what makes him get hurt. So it further kind of talks, further kind of like goes into this idea that like this is like more of like an action-based game now, and like it's not just exclusively turn-based. Because obviously Stealth Rock in the past, all it did was just damage your Pokemon if they switched out. But in this, it damaged him just for using a move. So it makes the moves kind of feel more like actual like moves, not just like mechanics or just a thing that happened. Um, I think it makes it really
I
interesting.
guess.
Like I think the combat it feels really like overhauled to an extent, but I think for the better maybe. I actually wouldn't complain this was how it was going forward for all Pokemon games. I don't know if it'll be like that. Like I'll bet you right now it probably won't be, but I think it'd be really cool if it was. I actually think it's a really cool idea. It's like it very much reminds me of like the way the anime is. Actually, like this is how Pokemon is in the anime for the most part, and I think that's ultimately what they wanted this to be like at some point. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it'll be like a long-term thing, but I think it's a cool idea to at least try, and I think it's got a lot of potential and it looks really interesting. Um, so yeah. Um,
Yes.
I don't know if you have anything else to mention about this trailer in particular. I don't know if there's anything else we haven't covered yet. Um, do you think this game will be better than Arceus overall when it comes out?
Sure.
You think, yeah, I think so too, actually. I think this game looks really good. I guess the last thing we can mention is what do you think the deal is with this little thing here at the end with the Rotom phone? Do you think this is like something important, or maybe it's just like some little nonsense here? Like, do you think this is actually like a
I
story thing?
no.
Yeah, I don't think
I
so
mean,
either.
because it's just like they're just like, haha, look, it's Rotom. It's just
Right.
we're using making this Pokemon be our phone.
Yeah, I this definitely screams to me. Like it's because it says what is it like promotional match or something here? What does it say? Yeah, this is a promotion match announcement. So this what this tells me is I think what this probably means is obviously if you remember in Legends Arceus, there was no PvP. There was not any PvP. There was no multiplayer period. So what that tells me is I
Yeah.
think instead of one of two things. Either one, it is a way to battle against at least against like more normal trainers. Because like there were not a ton of like trainer battles in Arceus. So maybe it means like there's more opportunities to, like battle just like NPCs. Or or it could even mean we could actually battle other users, which would be really cool because I thought it was a shame that you couldn't use like all these really cool Pokemon against other people very often in Arceus. So I hope that's something they include in this one.
You get I want to be able to buy an apartment in the city, have parties and sleepovers, um,
Yeah, you raise a good point.
and then that's how you can invite friends over to have a sleepover.
You do raise a good point actually, because that was one of the I think the most disappointing things about Scarlet and Violet was they gave you like your own like dorm or like whatever it was like being in the game, and then you literally like never use it. And it's like, why'd they even bother
Yeah.
giving me this?
Well,
So
I mean, that's in every game. You're given a home
well, sure, but like when
and
it's your home
you
though, it's
don't
like
use it.
you start off there and you like instantly leave, right? But like in Scarlet and Violet, like you have to actually like make your way to that town, and they actually make a note to like give you a dorm like a few hours into the game, and they can seem like it's actually like an actual like mechanic or like something relevant to the game, and it's just not. Like it's literally there just for cosmetic purposes, and it's just like, well, that's kind of boring. I don't know. Like especially considering like how much they emphasize like school and like learning about the world of Pokemon and stuff. Like you would have thought that like having a dorm room would like mean something, but it just didn't. Like
Eh,
it literally served no purpose. So I think it'd be kind of
I
cool if they actually did
guess.
have a way to like have a like kind of like a like special like little home or like dorm or something that you can actually like customize and use in some other meaningful way, whether it be like a multiplayer thing or even it's just as simple as like you can like run around like a building or a school and like or like an apartment and like meet other trainers and like learn more about the world or something. I think it'd be really cool. Like give it in more make it feel more fleshed out and like it actually matters. Like like that'd be I think really neat. Um, so I hope they do that. Um,
I mean, there definitely won't be something like that, but
no, probably not. But we can hope. The last thing I'll mention that's interesting to me is the overall kind of like setting of this game beyond just the actual like location. Um, Obviously in Arceus, one of the most interesting things about the game was the fact that it was like almost like a like origin story of Pokemon, right? Like it was like
Mhm.
ancient times, like like no like almost like no notable signs of civilization outside of just Jubilife City. It was literally like the beginning of like the Pokemon universe almost.
Yeah.
This game is clearly not that. It is clearly more of like a advanced civilization. There's already a ton of people, ton of Pokemon. We've already got this like
Yeah, well,
huge city
this
here.
this one's more of like the future. That one was the past. This one's the future.
You think it's like beyond? You think this is like after the events of X and Y?
Yeah, of course it
Or
is.
are you sure? Well,
Yeah.
because here's the thing. We see AZ here, and AZ to me, maybe I'm tripping, but he looks younger here than he does in X and Y to me.
Well,
Um,
well, but you well, the whole point is that he was like basically like a homeless guy and was like just off doing whatever.
sure,
So they're saying
yeah.
he did this and then that?
I
No,
mean, I feel like well, it's like the whole time
this
that
is 100% in the future.
I mean, yeah, I maybe I don't. It depends on how. It
Not
really depends on
maybe.
how
It's
long.
100% in the future.
I don't know. Was like the other thing to keep in mind is we see here that there's like still buildings like in development in the city. And to me, at least, the city does not look bigger now, or at
There
least in
can,
this game,
there can
than it
still
does in
be
X and
there
Y.
can still be construction.
Well, sure, but I mean, like, there's a lot of construction going on. I feel like if it was like obvious that this was like in the future, they want to show that. I don't know. I think it's vague, and I think it's vague on purpose. I don't know. Plus
I
the
think
fact that like,
you're way too delving deep into it.
well,
And
that's
like
part of the fun,
and being like,
like
look at this. I wonder
okay, bro, whatever. Keep being jealous. Um, I mean,
Chills.
you do raise like a good point that like I do think is probably like the probably the biggest indicator this is in the future is that there's just Pokemon just running around here. Um, because even in Arceus we didn't really see that. Like we didn't see Pokemon running around Cube Life. So maybe that means they actually like did implement some like system here for Pokemon to just kind of like walk around the city. That certainly seems possible. Plus with the like the company, whatever the hell, um, like that they kind of like this is a futuristic looking building here. So like
Yeah.
I'm
I
thinking that
mean, also
maybe
it has to be in the future because AZ is with Floret.
Floette. Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
mean it could be before they departed or like lost.
So you're saying this is 3,000 years in the past?
Why not?
Are you stupid?
Yeah. I mean it's,
Seems like you didn't think this through, but
well we
Bucko.
don't know how long in the past it was between Arceus and like the modern day games. Like who knows?
Well, yeah, but it's still somewhat based in like a realistic timeline. You're saying that civilization was more advanced 3,000 years ago than the beginning of X and Y.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily more advanced now. The only sign we have that's more advanced in any sense of the word is like buildings with like lights on them and stuff. It's not like they're like, like look at these buildings right now. Like these all look pretty much the same. Like nothing really looks different here. So,
A
you
hundred
know,
percent after X and Y.
I mean, I think it's possible. I'm not trying to argue that it's like
Yeah, I was
impossible
like,
by any means, but
it's
I think it could be
definitely.
before. I think it could be before. We'll have to see. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think we're just gonna see like how that impacts the story at all. Like, do we see like other characters from it's like another notable feature was how like in Arceus we saw characters from other games. Like we saw the like ancestors of Emmett and what's the other guy's name? Like the Battle Subway guys for Black and White. Like, could we see people like that appear in this game? And like, if so, would it be like their descendants? That would be like their future generations, or so to speak. And you're like, how would that work? I'd be curious to see that. So that would be interesting. Um, but yeah. So yeah, overall, like I said, I'm excited for this game. This game looks really good. I don't know what when you were thinking. I assume this game will come out probably in November. I think it makes sense like a holiday title. Especially because Pokemon likes to kind of have their games out October, November. And we don't know about anything else coming out toward the end of the year right now, albeit that's mostly because the Switch 2 needs to, show their stuff. Um, but yeah, I think right now this makes sense like an obvious like winter title to me. So I think that's probably when we see this game come out. Did you have a time that you think this game will come out or like what?
Uh, October.
October? Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes
October.
sense too. I think November, but I think both of them could happen. It really depends on
Mm,
what it depends on what other games we see announced during the Switch 2 presentation. It's like if we see like a new like 3D Mario, I can easily see that in November instead, but we'll have to see. Um, I guess now we can quickly talk about the other things they announced that Josh apparently did not watch very much.
'cause they don't matter really, except for like the one that said like champions or whatever. It
Uh,
was like made in a
yeah,
stadium like, but that's it.
yeah. So I mean, I'll admit, yeah, like all those like mobile games, I don't really care. Like Pokemon Go announced some like black and white event stuff, like black and white Kyurem and that kind of cool stuff, which like is cool, but like I mean I haven't touched Pokemon Go in years. I know it still has a pretty decent fan base and like player base, so like obviously that's why they're still up like giving it attention, updating it. But I mean yeah, I don't care about the game at all. Masters EX, whatever. I never played the game in my life, nor do I care. Um, Unite, I mean, I played that game one time, didn't care. Never played again, probably. So that's cool. And Pokemon Sleep, I actually have considered like trying that game before. I haven't downloaded the app, but I think it's kind of interesting on the surface. So I kind of want to try it someday if I ever think about it. But clearly, I haven't tried it yet, and it's been like what, a few years now. So clearly, that shows you how much I care about it overall. Um, but there are two things I do want to mention that they showed off in between those four things I just mentioned. And I'll start off with actually the first in the show, which was the new Pokemon like show thing on Netflix, which is called like what's that even called again? Like Pokemon
Concierge.
Concierge, thank you.
Yeah.
Um I don't so apparently this is a show that's been known about for a long time. I forgot that it even existed.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so I forgot it existed, I'm not gonna lie. But apparently it's this show that's been out for a while, and apparently is it? Did you think it was good? Did you actually like
It
it?
is pretty good. It's the animation is very cute.
Yeah,
Um like the Pokemon are like it's pretty much like the animation of the Pokemon, and so that's really cool. The main character, like the girl, is like actually like mentally challenged.
really. How so?
Like she's so stupid.
But she has a Psyduck as her like a little friend. That's nice.
But she is like absolutely stupid.
Oh,
Like there's like the one they actually show I think like this part in the trailer. Um she has like a wheelbarrow of something and there's a rock in the dirt path, like a little rock, and instead of moving the wheelbarrow slightly to the left or right, she tries pushing it over the rock and like everything spills because she's so stupid. And like she can't do her job right because she's too stupid. So yeah.
sounds like you got a vendetta there.
Mhm.
Sounds kind of personal. Well then let me ask you this: since you've actually watched the first season, are you excited for this new season or whatever this is? Does this look
I mean,
cool
it'd
to
be
you?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Was they? Because I believe they said. I don't know if you saw this. They said that the first four episodes they're going to release, I think, on the Pokemon YouTube channel like today or like soon. That you can just go and watch like before it comes out. So clearly it's something that they are trying to make a point to like. feel like make important. Like clearly this is a show that did decently well, and enough where they made a new season of it. And because and they're trying to like maintain hype for it because they just shadow dropped the first 4 episodes. So I don't know. Maybe I need to watch this. I don't know. I remember them like when I saw it, I remembered them announcing it, but I was like, oh yeah, like I forgot this was already a thing. Like it took me a minute to like remember like what this even was. So that part of it kind of that surprised me a little bit. But I mean, it's cool. It seems cool. I definitely think it's got a lot going for it. So I'm excited to see what else comes of it, I guess. I don't know. And then I guess the last thing is Pokemon Champions. So this is the only brand new game they announced today. And I don't know how much of it you watched again, but I actually am really excited for this. In some ways. Um, Pokemon Stadium and then Pokemon Battle Evolution are like two of my favorite console Pokemon games that like have ever been made. So the fact they're finally bringing it back again after God knows how long, I guess like when did Battle Evolution come out? I think it was like 2009, 2010, somewhere on there. It's been a long time.
When
So
what?
Pokemon Battle Evolution on the Wii.
Oh, I don't know.
I believe it came out in 2009. I believe it was somewhere. If it wasn't that, it was near that. It's been a long time though. So that's been it's been over 15 years. Um, and people have been wanting them to bring a game like this back because it is fun to just kind of just like battle with your friends and use different move sets and all that without having to actually like do the painstaking work of like, leveling up with Pokemon, finding the right TM or whatever the hell, the right item. You can kind of just do whatever you want with it and battle with it, and it's fun. So not to mention have like mini games and all that kind of stuff. So like Pokemon, those games were really, really fun. So I'm happy to see this game that, exists finally and be announced. The only issue I have, and I don't know if it's gonna be an issue yet, I have to see more, but I am not a fan of the fact this game is coming to phones. I don't like that. All that does is tell me that this game is not going to be very fleshed out. It's not going to be super advanced. It probably won't have a ton of different features or things you can do. And that worries me because Pokemon Stadium 2 and even Battle Evolution to an extent already kind of felt like a step down in some ways in the sense that like they did not feel as fleshed out as the original Pokemon Stadium did. And there really to me is not a lot of reasons why they need to do that with this game. Like if they wanted to make it a phone game, just release a different game that is similar but for the phone. I don't understand why they have to make it the same game when you're gonna basically hold back the Switch one because you have to make it on the fucking phone. I don't understand that.
Well,
So
maybe the phone one will be really good.
I mean we can hope, but I'm not getting my hopes up by any means. Like I don't have like Pokemon Unite has a similar problem, which is to be fair, it's not as bad because Pokemon Unite's a simpler game in nature. But I mean Unite doesn't have a ton of features or like different game modes or anything going for it because it has to be held back by the fact that the phone version only has so many things they can do. So I just really hope that this game doesn't end up being like very bare bones and like uninteresting because if it is, I'm gonna be really sad. Because like I said, I love Pokemon Stadium 1. I love that game. And this game could potentially be the best game you've seen in that style since then. But if it doesn't have a lot of features, a lot of modes, a lot of things to do, then it could very easily be one of those games that I play like 2 or 3 times and then never play again. So please just don't make it boring and uninteresting and like I said, like just bare bones. And have some notable content and features in the game that we can actually do. Um, because if uh, it's not gonna last that long and no one's gonna care about it. So yeah.
I was gonna care about it. What?
Are you excited for this game at all? Like, do you care about
Yeah.
champions?
Yeah, I mean, because they just pretty much didn't show really anything, so it's like,
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it
we'll
was only a brand new
wait to
announcement in
see.
Australia or in this direct. So,
Yeah, so it's just like, wait to see.
right. Yeah, they definitely did not show a lot of the game. So, like I said, I'm not. I don't want to sit here and say that like because it's on the phone, it's instantly trash. Like, I don't believe that. But I definitely think it's got more room to be trash now, and I definitely wouldn't be shocked if it was. And that is going to be disappointing if it is. Um, I don't so like it's like the other thing I was like, people were hoping for like other spin-offs, right? People want to see like a new Mystery Dungeon game or even like Poke Park, something like that. Um, and we didn't get those, obviously. And I don't think that's like the end of the world because, some of those games really have not been updated or like gotten any sort of like new release in over 10 years. So like why would we get them now? But it's kind of like and it's more of a critique of like these directs as a whole, but like it's kind of amusing to me how these directs have been like so like predictable and like formulaic. Like almost every Pokemon Direct these days is just like it's like 20 minutes long and like 15 minutes is just like, oh look at all our stupid mobile games that no one cares about and like oh, maybe like a little bit like TCG sprinkled in there. And then it's like 5 minutes of like the new game that people actually want to see and then that's it. Like it's very formulaic. So I
Yeah,
hope
yeah.
yeah, so I hope that's
It's-
gonna change. Like I hope they start actually like sprinkling in like other meaningful and interesting announcements, like a new Park game, or like even like a pinball, like a Traw-Z, like Pokemon Dash, like something else that is cool.
But you
That
said that you don't want them developing like multiple games at once.
well, that's why you either use different team. Well, I mean, like those are all made by the same people, so I mean, you got different
Mm.
teams, and even beyond that, like those games are just so wildly different that like I mean, maybe they could get those games out in like a few years. I don't know. Like I don't think those games require the same amount of time as like this game would, for instance. So like I don't know. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I wish Pokemon Company would like branch out a little more because like it feels like it's a bunch of mobile games these days, really. Like outside like the mainline games, it's just mobile games. And I wish they would do a little more. Like I think during the Switch era, we only had one mainline game, or sorry, we only had one console game come out that was not a mainline game, and that was one Mystery Dungeon game that was a remake of the original GBA game. So I hope that they start kind of going back to their other spin-off titles and start kind of branching out more. And Champions might be the start of that, but it's still on the phone, so we'll see. But I don't know. I hope this is the start of them kind of like going back to those because a lot of those games are really fun, and I'm sad we haven't seen them in so long. So yeah. Is there I don't know, is there like a certain Pokemon spin-off game you would want to see ever? I don't know.
Something with black and white.
Black and white? Like
Yeah.
what?
I don't know. Well, so actually, you know what? You know how this isn't black and white, but in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, there was like the little thing with like the mini game where you would like enter in your Pokemon and you would do
Oh,
like a bunch of challenges.
the Pokeathlon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there was maybe a game that was like a bigger version of that,
More fleshed out. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Maybe
cool actually.
where you use a Pokemon in non-battling stuff.
Sure. I want to say I can't remember for sure. Yeah, well, because like they have had like they have like kind of like dabbled in that a little bit in previous games, like Poke Park, like I mentioned, for instance. Poke Park has all like mini games you can do, but they're like very few and far between. And I think even Battle Evolution might have something like that. I don't remember for sure. It's been years since I've even touched that game. But yeah, I do agree though. Yeah, like I think one of the biggest things that Pokemon Company has not done a good job of, especially in like recent years, is really like tap into like the fact that you have like all these different like mechanics and like features in the Pokemon universe that they just have not used. Yeah, like you have like competitions that Pokemon can just like be athletic in and stuff like that. And they just like never like they use it in one game and then never use it again. So yeah, more stuff like that. Like more stuff like that makes the Pokemon world like feel alive, like beyond
Yeah.
just like battling and catching stuff. So
More.
yeah,
Yes.
I agree. Like definitely need to like have more features like that. They just make the world feel more like a world and not just like a video game thing. So yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, is there anything else you want to mention? Is there anything else important or interesting that you thought about this trailer or like this direct rather, or is that it?
No, I think that's about it. You covered pretty much everything, I feel like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The other L I'll mention, and this might still come this year or at some point in the future, I don't know. But the other thing I'm sad about that we didn't see still after all this time is we still have not gotten the older games on NSO. And people have been begging for those for years, like like the GB, like the game, the original Game Boy games, and then of course Gen 2 and Gen 3 games. People have been wanting those for years. Still haven't gotten them. Don't know if we ever will, but another direct comes and goes, and we don't see any word of them. So hopefully that'll come someday. Maybe the Switch 2, they'll announce it. I don't know, but
Yeah.
kind of surprised we haven't gotten those yet. Like those felt like one of like the obvious ones we would get when they
Mm.
announced Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, and we just have not gotten them.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, but yeah, that's probably about it. Like I said, overall. I liked this direct. Like I said, it was the biggest thing you can say about it is it was pretty predictable. It was like I said, very
Yeah.
formulaic. Like it wasn't really almost any one new game announced, one brand new game announced, so no surprises. But
Mm.
I thought they did show was solid. Like this trailer in particular versus EA, I thought was really interesting. It clearly showed what this game's about and all the new features and things that we can expect to see in the game. And I thought overall it was good. It was content filled. Even the mobile game stuff I thought did its job for the 8 people that care about those things. And and yeah, I thought it was fine. So I would give this I would give us like a solid like B. Like maybe like B plus even. I thought this was fine. Um
I'd give it a
so yeah,
C.
a C.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I actually maybe not. I actually might be closer to like B minus and B plus. I'm thinking about it, but like I thought that was okay. Like I definitely did not walk away from this feeling like disappointed or like deflated anyway. I thought it did his job, which is ultimately what these directs are aiming to do. It feels like at this point. So yeah. All right. I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
Um.
That's all I gotta say on my
Awesome.
input.
All right. Sounds good. Then I guess thank you for joining me, good sir. Um. And I guess I will catch you guys all later. Thank you for watching. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye.
Bye.